computer. Okay. The other thing is I'm a Mac person. I love iMac. The school has given me a Dell laptop. I do not know what I'm doing on a Dell laptop. So my fingers are trying to find the right way, and I'm trying to figure out the right buttons, and that makes it like triple hard. Quit laughing at me, Caleb. He knows how I am. This class is going to be a lot of fun. The projects I have signed up for you, I think will be very doable for you. If you haven't already heard, American Lumber has pre-cut the wood for you and wrapped it up in packets. So you're going to buy a packet, you're done. You don't have to wait for them to cut it. You don't have to go to, some other place and say, I need this size, and this size. They have already been alerted 2 weeks in advance, and they know what you need. So just walk in there and say, I'm in Professor Barr's painting classes and I need a packet of masonite boards, and they will hand them to you. And I don't know what they're charging you for them because I've gone smaller. Last year it was $30 for the whole packet, so it should be less than $30.
25 or so.
I can't hear you.
I think it's $25, something.
25? Perfect. That's perfect. This is the acrylic class, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Because I teach acrylic and oil, and we flip it every semester, I get confused sometimes. And after 18 years of teaching, it all becomes a blur. I have my studio set up with cameras and different things for you guys to be able to see me do demonstrations, to watch me paint, because I'm going to paint with you. I'm going to show you on Thursday. Gessoing a board is like just painting a wall, only you're going to paint one direction, let it dry completely, and then paint it another direction and let it dry. 2 coats is usually sufficient. If you can still see the board, put a third one on there. So one of the first things that I want you to do for the class is to take all of your boards and gesso all of your boards with 2 to 3 coats of gesso. You're going to be like painting little white walls, Then they'll all be ready to begin your projects. One of the things that I do is...
We only need 2 masonite boards, right?
No, you need 6. There's 6 small ones in different sizes.
Okay, where exactly did we get them at?
American Lumber on 9th Street, right by the school.
Okay.
And they've been called in advance, and they already know what you need, and they have them in packets ready to go for 25 bucks. Okay. I cut down the amount of paint that I usually have my students buy, because you can make different colors, and I'll show you how to make the different colors. So the colors that I have listed are very specific for a reason. For example, Indian yellow, you're gonna say, where's the CAD yellow? I need to have a brighter yellow. Well, Indian yellow is the only transparent yellow. And if you add white to it, you're making cadmium yellow, okay? There's different little tricks that you can do with black, adding to different colors to get different colors. There's different mixtures. Like if you noticed, I did not have you buy black, because I'm going to teach you how to make black with the colors I did have you get. Little things like that in order to cut the cost down this semester for supplies as much as I could. I'm going to, if you guys have had a chance to look at the assignment folder on the left, anybody had a chance to do that yet? Caleb?
Are you talking about the birds?
Yeah, that's the first project. What I've done is I've only put the first one up so that people don't get overwhelmed. There's going to be a total of 6 projects, and the first 3 you have until midterm to finish them. Okay, so let's say you get sick, or your baby's sick, or grandma needs your help, or your car broke down. Well, you don't need to come to school if your car broke down. I use that every year. You have extra time to do the work that's okay for you. Okay, you can always work on your paintings at home. I would really like you to be there for the demos, the lectures, some of the class time so you can watch me paint, so that you can ask questions, that kind of thing. And then paint on your own time. And you can do more than one. If you're not happy with your painting, you can always flip the board just on the other side and do a second one. You can also, because you're in acrylic, you don't like it, paint over it. Okay, it's not like watercolor, you know, where you make a mistake, you got to start over. That's not the case. I have you guys doing 5 discussions during the class, which are super, super, super important. Cannot stress how important these discussions are. And I tell students that every semester. Caleb's grinning at me. Because hopefully it's going to, first off, the first discussion is going to take away the fear factor. Some people are afraid to paint. They're like, oh my God, I don't know if I can paint. This is scary. I understand that. Squeak Conrath teaches at Davis University. And when you watch her talk about her work and how she thinks about it and how she approaches it, you're going to sit there and go, well, I can do that. That's, how the heck did she get a master's degree and a teaching job at Davis? I don't get it. You know? So you're gonna see this push and pull effect that she does with her painting, and hopefully that'll take away part of that fear factor. The next discussion is with Christopher Brown. He was an instructor at Berkeley University. Okay, he's going to talk about his thought process in his paintings. He starts out a painting, and then he goes, oh, this isn't working, and he uses big brushes, and he just paints over the top of it, and it start out with an idea, and then it shifts into another idea, and you're going, what the hell is this guy doing? And then when you see him finish and you hear him talk about his memories, what sparks his interest in painting, why he thinks painting is so important. He actually quit his job at Berkeley University at the age of 43, teaching full-time, because he was making more money with his paintings than he was being paid by the school. Okay, so there's, and what I'm doing is I'm showing you people who are alive and living. They're not dead artists whose family are making millions on them. They're alive, and they're selling their paintings for anywhere between $5,000 and $150,000. Depending on the size, well. So I don't want you to think that the only successful artist is a dead artist. And I also want you to learn to breathe when you paint, so that you can just have fun, enjoy this part of school. And if you really learn to like painting and it's something you want to keep doing, do it as a minor, keep doing it, because anything you're doing in school right now, you can bring it into the arts. I don't care if it's nursing, engineering, agriculture, whatever it is that your major is, down the road, you can bring it into the arts. And we don't have a super lot of time, but I can tell you some stories later that are really cool. I'll tell you one real quick. When I was in graduate school, there was a guy that came in to do his master's in sculpture. And he was the guy who did all the engineering inside the Shark movie. And what was it, Free Willy? I want to say Free Willy, but that might be too far back. Wasn't there another one that was like 3? There was 3 of them. Okay, he's the guy that did all the engineering inside of that for Hollywood. Then he came back and did his master's degree in sculpture, and all his sculpture moved. So there's an example of someone going for a master's in a different area and then bringing that area back into the arts. Okay, you can do the same thing with painting. The discussions are part of the learning process. I don't want you to learn just from me. I want you to hear what other successful artists have to say, and they're contemporary artists. They're living, they're working, they're selling, they're teaching. So you're getting this extended education outside of MJC, outside of Modesto, outside of just what I think. Okay. Some of it you're going to love and like, and you'll get a lot from, and others you're going to look at and go, I don't like that. You know? And that's okay, because art is very, very subjective. It's going to be your opinion. You won't be able to see anybody else's answers to the questions that I'm asking you about the video. You have to answer it yourself, and then all of a sudden everybody's is going to come up. Okay, and don't wait to the last minute, because then everybody has no time to respond to two other people. I want you to respond to each other, and you can agree to disagree. That's okay too, okay? Art's very, very subjective. Some people like abstract, some people like realism, some people like impressionism. Some people just can't stand doing people. Other people love, you know, animals, that kind of thing. So based on the questions, I want you to answer the questions in your own words, what you think. I honor what you think, good or bad, and respond to two of your peers in the classroom. Okay, read through what they've said and then step up and say something about what they said. You know, like, hey, I agree with you, or wow, I never thought of that. You know, it doesn't have to be long. It's just a paragraph or two. You know, it's not like I'm having you write papers. I'm having you critically think about what you're looking at and what other people are saying about what those people are doing. I got this list, or I forget to do things. I did buy the paints online through the Utrecht link that I gave you guys, and it came to $98, but I think I got two of one of them. So it's under $100 for the paints, and that included the palette. I have you guys getting a specific palette. It's called Richardson Jackson something, but there's a link there. The reason for that is that the paper, and you can see I have no supplies. I was supposed to be home yesterday. Gray, it's a gray palette. And then on the flip side is a color wheel with a gray scale with all the terminology for color. So those of you that have not had color in design, that know nothing about mixing colors, will have a cheat sheet right there on your palette. Okay, so that's, instead of buying a book, which is expensive, you're going to learn from the discussions. You're going to learn from the palette paper pad that's right there with the color information on it, and each other. Okay, there's only a couple of people that are in the advanced painting area, and that's because the school has pulled a whammy on me, and that the only transferable units for an AA degree are beginning acrylic and a beginning oil. I do have students that come back because they become addicted to my painting class, which is great. I get them. And they take it the second class, the third class, and then they jump into the acrylic, you know, the other class and do the second and the third. And some of them have gone on to Stan State and then come back to me because they said they learned more from me than they do at Stan State. And I had one student email me and say, oh my God, you set the bar so high, Davis is failing. He's up at Davis University. So I'll let you know that I learned from one of the best. Her name is Hung Lu. If you've ever been at the Oakland Airport and seen the windows with the big birds flying down the windows as you're going into that's Hung Lu. If you're at the San Francisco airport and you're going down the escalator, that Chinese painting up above that you look at, that's Hung Lu. She's got 2 masters, one from China, one from San Diego State. Her work sells for anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000 a piece. Usually her work is sold out before the show even opens. Fantastic person, phenomenal teacher. I was very, very lucky. She limits her classes at Mills College to 10 students. She will only take 10 per semester. She's now retired, so you can't take from her anymore. But you can learn through me because she gave it all to me. Let's see. My biggest thing, just so you guys know, I'm a practicing artist. I sell my work. I show my work. I had 3 shows lined up for this year, and 2 of them are on hold because of the pandemic. They're going to try to reschedule to something else. And then another one will be in Turlock, and they're going to let you go in by appointment only, or only a few people at a time. So if you want to see my work in January, it'll be at the Turlock Carnegie Art, they used to call it the museum. Now they call it something else. Anyway, it's in Turlock, next to the police department. So let me repeat the part about your assignments being due. Every 2 weeks, we're going to start another assignment. Don't freak out, because what that does is it allows those who are finished to start the second project. Those that are not, you guys can work on both at the same time. It's not due yet, okay? I will do check-ins, see how you're doing, make suggestions, show me your artwork on Zoom, send me a picture, so that you can improve upon it, because we don't have the classroom set up where I'm walking around and helping people. So this is going to have to be all, you know, show me what you're doing. I'll help you that way. Or you can send me a picture and I can do circles and make notes on the side. We'll see what works best. I would highly suggest that you print out the assignment sheet on the assignments folder on the left, so that you know what we're going to be doing and when it'll be due. So your first 3 assignments will be due at midterm. Ta-da! After we get done with midterm, we're going to move on to the next 3 assignments, and they're not due until the final. Okay? The only thing you're going to need to worry about is the discussions and those due dates, because those will be every 2 to 3 weeks, and then we're going to switch to someone else. And they're going to jump around from very different point of views, very different approaches. When you get to Hung Lu's, it's all about the drips and gravity and things going down to the ground, and she'll be painting this beautiful painting, and then all of a sudden, drips go down to the ground. And you go, she's wrecking it! No, just making it better. That's just an example. And then we're going to get to the realism. You know, there's some famous people that have done portraits and covers for musicians for their CDs and their, you know, houses and things like that. I do a point system. Each painting is worth 100 points, so do your best. I do not compare you guys to each other. I take you as individuals, and just like your signature, you're all going to have a different approach to painting. I do not expect you to be cameras. And when you see the realism towards the end, don't freak out and go, oh my God, I can't do that, because that's not what I want. I want you to learn how to mix color. I want you to learn how to do different brush strokes, and I'm going to teach you different techniques. Okay, so we're going to start out real simple with just black and white, so you can get the feel of the paint, so that you can get the feel of applying it to the board, so that you can learn how to mix and get different values from that black and white. And I'm going to teach you how to make black so that you can make the black and white. Okay. The journals are optional. It's for you. I highly suggest you keep a journal, because you're going to come across things that you really, really like. Things that upset you, things that you are interested in, and you can cut out of magazines, you can print off the internet, you can make notes off the side. It's all for you. I'm not going to grade your journals. That's for your reference and your, you know, to kind of start putting together your thoughts about what your content's going to be. First one's going to be birds. You're going to do that on a 12 by 12 masonite board. I have students working on masonite board for 2 reasons. 1, it's cheaper, and 2, it's a solid surface where it doesn't, you know, bend. And unlike canvas that can tear or warp or, you know, get bubbles in it, this won't do that to you. Acrylic has 10% elasticity, which means you can bend it 10% and it won't crack. But the oil painting people only have 3% elasticity. More than that, the painting starts to crack. If you've ever looked at a Rubens painting and seen all the cracks and you think, oh, it's so old, look at all those cracks, that's so cool. It's not because it's old. He painted on canvas. And the canvas has buckled over the years or bent over the years, and that's what's causing all the crackling on the canvas. So the people who painted on boards 300 years before him, their paintings are perfect. There's no cracks, there's nothing on them, because they did a solid surface. If you like painting on canvas and you're like, oh my God, she's gonna make us paint on boards, I love the feel of canvas, I will tell you how to adhere the canvas to a board so you have a stable surface, but the texture at the same time. Okay, so keep that in a side note and say, hey, Professor Barr, I'd really like to paint on canvas. How do you attach the canvas to the board? And I'll let you know so that you can do your work on canvas. I love painting on boards myself because of the stability. And I love working big, which you'll see in my studio. I have one that I just finished. Some of the materials you can get for free, like save your metal and plastic containers for water. Okay, when you rinse out your brushes, you rinse them out in the container. Don't go to your sink with clobs of paint, gesso or paint on your brush and wash it out, okay? Because that acrylic will go down your sink and it will harden and you'll be calling a plumber. You don't want to do that. You want to rinse your brushes always so that they become clean in a container of water. Then you can use soap and wash your brushes and rinse them in the sink. But you don't want clumps of paint going down your sinks, okay? You want to wipe off the brush, you want to rinse out the brush in the container, and then you want to wash it with soap, okay? Then I give you a heads up so you're not cussing at me going, I had to call the plumber. No, no plumbers. For the gessoing on the boards, you can just use a large house brush. It doesn't have to be super smooth. It can have a little bit of grains in it because some of you will go, I can still see the brush strokes in it. I do that on purpose and I glob the paint on so that there's more texture because of the stuff I do. And I'll show you some close-ups later on. Order all your paints right now. It's going to be under $100 for the paints. And the reason I say that is because all the paint companies, Utrecht, Pearl, Dick Blick, are having 40% off sales, 50% off sales, free shipping. And if you wait 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, you're going to need them before then anyway. Those sales won't be there and it'll cost you more to get your paints. And I have a short list for you anyway. So order all your paints first so that you have them on hand, okay? You're going to need a pencil and the palette that I named. Does anybody not know what a palette knife is? Y'all good with the palette knife? It's something you're going to need to mix your paint with. We don't mix with a brush.
To get the palette, the grayscale one that you were mentioning, do we have to get it off of Blick or can we get it anywhere else?
You can try to get it someplace else. I don't care where you get it. The link I've given you, I think it's like $12, $14, okay. And it has 50 sheets on it. So that should be plenty for the semester. If you absolutely can't find them and they're gone everywhere and sold out, go ahead and buy a regular one. Just make sure it's a big one. I've had students bring in these little palettes like this and I'm like, you can't.
Yeah, no, I have a few big ones. I just wasn't sure if one of those would work or if the one that you want us to have.
Well, have you had color and design before?
Color and design, no. I'm taking it this semester as well.
Okay, but they're not going to hit color until the end of the semester. The reason for, I don't know what time you came in, the reason for the palette I'm talking about is it has a color wheel, all the terminology, a grayscale, and it will help you with the mixing in advance. So try to get a hold of one.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions before I start babbling on some more?
The palette knife.
That's it.
That's it. This edge to it there. Wavy. It's kind of wavy.
It's wavy. You might want to get one that's to go with it. That's just the flat regular.
Okay, I couldn't find that. Okay, I'll look again.
The metal ones are the best. People try to save money by getting the plastic. They break.
Wavy.
Yeah. That's going to give you a certain kind of texture.
Right. That's what I thought.
Which might come in handy for you, but I don't think you're going to want to use it for the whole painting.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, some artists have like 10 palette knives, all different sizes, all different shapes, all different texture types. I just want the basic for mixing.
Okay.
Blix has the right one.
Huh?
Blix has the right one that you're asking for.
Yes.
Very inexpensive.
Yeah, they're not expensive. The brushes that I showed you guys online, a couple of people asked me synthetic or natural. And of course I would say natural, but those are super expensive. Don't do it. Get the synthetic. They work just as well. And if, something happens to it, then you're not out a lot of money. Do not get the super cheap packet brushes, okay? Because what's going to happen is halfway through the semester, the ferrule is going to fall off of the stick. You're going to be painting and then poof, it's going to go flying off or hit the ground or stick to your painting or whatever. So get the decent ones like I'm showing you. It doesn't matter what brand, just a good synthetic brush that is the middle size of all of those. One. Now, if you want to buy more, have at it. I've got 3 buckets full. But those are the basic ones I need you to have. And then a regular house brush from Home Depot that you brush a wall with is fine for the gessoing. It doesn't have to be anything special. Okay. I always have my students get a towel to cover up the tables at school. I would suggest that whatever you put your palette and your paints on, you cover it up with a towel or a sheet or an old something to protect your table. Okay. If you don't do it, it's your table. So I'm just saying, heads up, protect your stuff. Okay. Gloss medium is going to be important because that's what thins down the paint in order to do glazing. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. You don't want matte medium, you don't want satin medium, you want gloss medium because it will suspend the paint within the medium, and when you layer it, you can see color through color. It also is the only one that's going to give you a hard edge when you do the taping, which you can also do in your house, if you're interested in that kind of stuff. So gloss medium is very important. Blue tape for taping off edges, for getting hard edges, and I'll show you how to do a hard edge. And all the pop artists that did those super straight edges, and everybody gets close and goes, "I'm not going out there to do that. It must have been tape. Why does my tape always bleed?" Well, because they use gloss medium. They sealed it off and then fold it off, and it's all straight. You're going to want some rags. Get some old T-shirts, soft rags, not towels for the rag part, because you're going to want to wipe away the paint in some areas. You're going to want to put water on it and wipe it even more. You're going to want to clean your brushes with paper towels before you rinse it out. The figure drawing class. Oh, and you need to find an image of a bird or birds. 2 birds is better than 1. No. I've given you a link online for my Pinterest page. Those of you that aren't a member of Pinterest, just join. You don't have to make boards or do anything, but it'll allow you to look at my stuff, okay? And you're gonna want to see the ones that I've saved. You are not bound to any of those images. You look through my images and go, "I don't like any of those. I really want to do something else." Click on one of the images and it'll bring you to other people's stuff. So you can search for what it is you want to paint, what kind of bird you want to paint, by clicking on Pinterest. In the old days, we had to go to the library and look through magazines and make copies and, cut it out or take pictures and wait a week for it to be developed. So you guys got it real easy for finding your imagery. Most people like to paint birds, and I always change up the subject matter every semester for what people are painting so that the class doesn't come out looking like, oh, well, they do the same thing every semester. I don't do the same thing every semester. And I flip it around a lot. One of the things I am going to tell you about me is that, first off, if you have a disability and you need extra assistance or help or something, special because of your disability, please don't be afraid to tell me that you need that help or get me the proper forms that I need to know what the issue is. Me personally, I have relapsing remitting MS, which means that I look fine. People can't tell, and if I didn't tell you, you probably couldn't have guessed it. What will show up is you might send me an email, and it might take me a day or two to get back to you because I read it and I was running out the door, and when I got back, I don't remember. And my email gets bombarded at school. They send me what's for sale and eggs on West Campus, and I got to know what construction's going on where and what the, how athletics department's doing. And now with all the problems they're having, I don't know if you noticed, but the Pirates Net went from partially meeting to not meeting to kind of meeting to not meeting. And the teachers were going back and forth, developing classes online they'd never done before, and then having to flip it to partially online. And then they'd come in and say, no, this one has to be all in person. And then they'd flip it again. And then, no, we got to do it the other way. So the teachers are super, super frustrated. It's been unbelievable. Meetings on top of meetings. Usually we have one department meeting every semester, and this last month there's been 2 every week, just because they're trying to make sure everything's going okay. And I want to reassure you guys that there will be, if there's a meeting and Zoom isn't working, I will be notified by the IT tech that Zoom is down or they're having problems. They're trying to fix it. I'll announce it on Canvas and let you know that, hey, it's not you. We're going to have to meet again at a different time. Because yesterday was that way. First day of school and not until later in the day. So that's how the semester started, was teachers were prepared and ready to go, and crash and burn. I know. It's just, it's been something else. Are there any other questions? Because I don't want to keep you guys all day. I'm just giving you you have any Canvas questions? Discussion questions?
Professor, I do have a few questions, but I can wait till we're done with class in order to talk to you about it.
Okay. Anybody else? I don't believe in super long lectures. I get right to the point. So when I give a lecture for a new project, it'll be about 20 minutes long, 25 minutes long at the most. And then I will put the lecture onto Canvas so that you will have reference to it. One of them is already up. Okay. I haven't given you that lecture yet, but you got a heads up on what you're doing and some of the things to look for and, what things to think about. All of you are beginners, right? Except for you, Caleb. Yeah. See, Caleb's the one that came back, and he's taking acrylic, although he does oil. So he can do it again.
Only acrylic so far.
Only for acrylic so far. Okay.
I've done oil and some other.
You're in oil?
Yeah, I've been in oil and some other mediums too. But I
okay,
learned
good.
acrylics.
I've been doing both for quite some time.
Okay. Well, you can do both acrylic and oil paints, but you have to do acrylic first and then oil on top. You can't put acrylic on top of oil, only oil on top of acrylic. In case you didn't know that. I throw that out there.
For the paint buckets, like I know we can't rinse the brushes in the sink, but can we pour once the paint is diluted in the buckets, can we pour those in the sink?
Yes, because it's been dissolved in the water and it's already fluid. It's not cakey, it's clumps of paint. Yes, you can
Just
pour the
checking.
water that has
Good
the
question.
stuff in it. Yes. Who said they had a question?
Oh no, I just said good question.
Oh, yeah.
Which is good. Thank you for that.
And then no problem. And is your show going to be at the Carnegie Art Center?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I
It'll
figured
be-
it out.
It'll be sometime in January.
Cool.
I don't know. It's out there.
So
Yeah.
until Thursday, all we do is paint all the boards with gesso.
Yes.
Okay.
Just prepare your boards with the white gesso, and what you do is you paint so that it's covered this direction. Let it completely dry. Don't rush it, Because if you go on with wet gesso on top of damp gesso, you're going to pull the damp gesso and it'll make clumps and then you'll get frustrated. You can always sand it, but that's more work for you. Just let it dry, go the other direction. If it covers the board and you can't see the board through the gesso, then you're fine. If you can, then do one more so you have 3 coats of gesso. And if you can see the board through the gesso, that means the gesso is not the best. It's thin to begin with, and it's not your fault.
How long does something like that usually take to dry?
I can't hear you, hon. Can you speak up a little bit?
How long does it take to dry?
Bone dry in under an hour. And in this kind of weather, probably 40 minutes. You know, you can go fix a cup of coffee, have a quick phone call, touch it. If it leaves a fingerprint, not dry.
Okay.
Oh, one more thing I needed to tell you guys. The paints I have you buying, it explains it on the board, on the canvas. It makes sure it says open on it. Okay, not just the regular acrylics, but open. Because when you're painting and it's half dry, 3/4 dry, you can have a wet brush and reactivate it, which means the paint will become movable and you can mix it, blend it. Where regular acrylics, you can't do that. Once it starts drying, it's like sticky, done, you gotta paint over it. It's the first time they've come out with a paint, and several companies now have, where you can reactivate the acrylic paint, which was not available 5-6 years ago. So you're gonna want that. Don't buy basic paints. Don't buy Liquitex Basics. Yes, it's cheap. It's cheap for a reason. The binder, then the water they put in those is ridiculous, and you're saving money, but you are gonna give yourself a headache. You're gonna give yourself nightmares. You're gonna get frustrated and touch the board. You're gonna call me and go, it's not working. And I'm gonna go, what paints do you have? Okay, so it's worth the investment to get the better paint. It will last longer. You can rework it. You can, you know, get a better outcome. The pigments are stronger. They use super cheap pigments in the Liquitex Basics. So anything that says Liquitex Basics is cheap for a reason. Don't buy it. Anything else?
Will we be painting during the class then online, or do we all paint on our own and we just have to lecture online?
I'm going to have the class open during class time. The school is telling me that we're supposed to have the full class online. So you can ask questions, I can do demos, I can talk to you about what you're doing. So yeah, I will be available, and you should be painting with me. That's what they're telling students to do. I will sometimes not feel good and I'll say, we're gonna go. Go do your discussion, or you can continue painting. But that's just a few times. My air conditioner's on and it's gagging me with dirt because I have a lady come and clean my apartment. It's been a week from hell. Week from hell. Any other questions while I cough up fur balls? Nope, we're all good.
I had my question. I emailed you about it a few weeks ago, Selena.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and look at it.
Okay.
Did you email me through Canvas, or did you email me at my email address?
It was at your email address. It was about the job thing and about how I wouldn't be able to attend every class meeting because of my job schedule.
I thought I responded to you.
You did. I was just kind of following up. That was all.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at what I responded to. I responded to you, and I think I set up something with you and with, was it you, Andrew?
For the figure drawing, yes.
For the what?
The figure drawing class.
Figure drawing class, okay.
We were going to set something up shortly to figure it out.
We'll do that tomorrow when we
Yeah.
finally meet for that class. That was ridiculous.
Okay.
Don't worry, Selena. I got you covered. We'll work
All right,
we'll work it out. Crystal, how are you doing? You have to unmute yourself. I can't hear you.
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Nice to see you again.
That's just me again.
I know.
I haven't changed a bit, except for I'm getting claustrophobic inside. Let me out. Okay. So I'll ask that question one more time. Is there anybody else in the class that I've had before? Besides the people I pointed out?
You've had me before.
Sarah, okay. Which class did I have you for?
I think it was the fundamental design.
Color and design?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, color and design. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a few years ago.
Okay. I'm really bad with names. Super bad with names, people. So don't take it personally. But luckily, when you come up, your name is in front of my face. So that's going to help me a lot. Okay, I'm going to let you guys go. It's been 45 minutes, and I will see you on Thursday. I will be home in my studio and go over things with you then on how to begin and how to start.
Is that
Irina?
9 o'clock or 9:30 on Thursday?
It's 9 o'clock.
9.
9
Okay.
o'clock. Yeah. I gave everybody an extra half hour this
Yeah.
morning in case they were struggling with Zoom.
Of course.
That's all.
Do you want me to follow up with you via email on to set something up for
Yes, but shoot me an email through
Canvas?
Canvas.
Okay, will do.
Okay. Because I have students that'll say, hey, I need you to help me with my class through the regular email, and I got 5 classes going.
No, you're fine. I
What are
get
you
it.
talking about? You gotta tell me which one you're in, or I won't know. Okay? You guys have a great, great day.
Professor, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Perla.
So is there anything due by next class meeting? I know you're talking about discussions.
I give you 2 weeks to do the first discussion.
Okay.
You got plenty of time. And you don't have to get into any special thing to get there. It's right in Canvas.
Okay, thank you.
Enjoy it. She's a hoot. You'll probably laugh a lot and go, she said, what? But, you know, she's an artist, so it's all good. You guys take care. Be safe. I will see you on Thursday.
Okay, great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Kayla. Bye. I don't know how to end this. Trying. It says end, but it's not ending. There we go.